Hey there. So, does this sound like you? Many times people look forward to the holidays, and then there are the others who just painfully endure the same old family obligations and crave something different, especially with their significant other, right? You can have both. You can carve out some special time with your significant other and do something you want to do with your family and mix it up a little so that your holiday will truly be an exercise in togetherness instead of begrudging apartness. Okay, can you relate to this? Is any of this resounding as true?
Oh, I'm sure it relates to a lot of people. The
Yeah,
ones who are silent and begrudging during the holidays because, they're
yeah.
devoted, to their people. So
And that brings us into today's topic. Today, we are going to be discussing the way to reset your holidays for enjoyment. Yeah, so stay tuned for season 3 of Discover Your Amazing Edge, a Spicy Friday edition.
it is Spicy Fridays.
It is.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. I saw somebody doing this ad on TV um, for uh, for generic Viagra, and and you know what it's called? It's called Friday Plans Incorporated. It's called Friday Plans.
Really?
So I guess some people have some spicy Friday plans. You think, and it comes in a pack and you put it in your wallet. It's incredible. I mean, they
They
have this
say
whole,
good on you.
generic Viagra is raining from the sky and it's going to
It's
be a
raining
spicy day.
now. Hallelujah. It's
Exactly.
raining now.
It's raining Cialis,
It is. It's
or,
raining
or
Cialis.
or even more, it might be raining an erection, and that I
Um,
think, I mean, the thing sells. What can I tell you?
it's
It's
raining
obviously millions need it. Millions need it.
directions. Yeah. Right.
So
And
anyway, I'm Zev Halpern, and I'm coming to you live from the Washington D.C. area on the East Coast.
and I am Sarah in rainy Seattle, and I am coming at you from the West Coast, and we are coast to coast, nationwide and worldwide. So let's dive in and talk about all things holiday relationship, especially yours.
So a lot of people try, they go through the holidays and, they do the same thing, family traditions, they follow obligations. It's not even an obligation, it's almost like a habit. People look at it like we go to Uncle Ernie's,
Hey,
for
Aaron,
for the eve. We go, to Aunt Thelma's, for the first night of Hanukkah.
and see
Uh,
the
and we do this and we do exactly this and we go to the exactly this and we go and we're talking about numerous people, but there's one person and more power to them. I mean, you hear people love the holidays. They're crazy about the way they do the holidays. They put out their stuff. They do all the, but then there's other people, and it's kind of interesting how the holidays are so encompassing that people forget that there are other people, and they might not want to go to Aunt Thelma's, or they might go to Aunt Thelma's and be happy if we carved out something else that everybody wanted to do, or that a particular couple wanted to do, or one of the spouses just was so sick and tired, of these holiday things, that they either drink or drug themselves through the
right.
holidays. And I know a lot of people who do that. They've told me, but they're afraid to say what they want to say because what they want to say is, "Can't we do something different for the holiday,
Well,
please?" If they
they
and
right,
they're screaming inside.
they
But they
are.
don't want to upset their people that they love. They don't want to, it's a real status quo and it's very strong. It's the holiday tradition. Tradition. So
Tradition. ends. So
Right.
you could like I mean, there are people out there, adults even, who still believe in Santa Claus. So, gentlemen, you could dress up in your Santa suit, and ladies, you could dress up too in your Santa lingerie just to mix things up. I mean, a small thing like that can really get the home fires burning.
I know, and I think what we need to think about, excuse me, on the holiday is what actually brings us joy and what do we do out of pressure. You know,
Exactly.
I mean, it has to do with life as well, but especially around the holidays. What do we do? What brings us joy? And obviously, for some people, the holidays are automatic joy. But for the other party, in that relationship, the way that they do the holiday might just be a pressure cooker. And so we want to like try to talk a little bit about what a lot of people don't talk about, and that's
And
creating a shared holiday. You
but I have
know,
a question for you, Zev, and this feeds into the shared holiday idea. What happens when the mother-in-laws in the family start dueling the day after Christmas, like on Boxing Day, as the British call it,
they
Boxing?
duel before that about who's going to come,
Well,
and
what
and
I'm
whether
saying
they're going to come at this
is
particular time or whatever, or
start a year early. They start dueling the day after Christmas or the day after Hanukkah for next year's Christmas or Hanukkah. What do we
I'm
do?
sure they do, but they already started before Thanksgiving, you know, because that was like figuring out, well, we
They
can't
started,
come this year. We can't come this year. Sorry, we just can't come this year. We can't come this year. What do you mean you can't come this year? And then somebody
are you
says to
spending
somebody,
the holiday at other people's house?
and not ours,
No.
and not ours. This
How?
is like this is, and this is in the sin level. You've
It
just crossed over into sin, you know.
Yeah, sin. And you better grab your beads or you better talk to your rabbi or whatever it is you do to
But
atone.
here's my compassionate side. I understand. I understand why it's so deep for them,
It is true.
because they love the people, and again, habits, familiarity, change. People just, this is the way they react to it. And the holidays, it's almost like hyper, because people are buzzing on a different thing. As soon as you hit a certain part of December, people, certain people hit the buzz. They also start going to the bar and getting more buzz, or whatever, out of their medicine cabinet they're looking for. But it's important to listen, to ask, what would you like to do this holiday? That would almost be, people would be scared to ask that question.
The
Well,
pigs.
what I want to do this holiday is not do what you do on a holiday, and that is go to Uncle so and so's, Aunt so and so's, cousin so and so's, and da 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 da. I'd like to do something different, and I'm not asking for a lot. How about if we just carve out some time for us, like we can like go overnight somewhere, just go do the things we have to do, but then we can do something just for us. Well, I don't want to do that. I'm not doing that. I'm just not doing that. So too bad, Sarah. If that's what you want to do,
If
then you go do it yourself, okay? Because holidays are special, and this is just the way it is.
And then there's another issue to layer on top of this. Most people want to have this joyful holiday and they have this built up image in their mind of, oh, I'm going to be so happy during the holidays because we're all going to be together as a family. And they have this Norman Rockwell portrait in their mind. And so when things go wrong, and they inevitably do, that Norman Rockwell picture gets smashed, and then everybody's temper is flaring high.
I mean, their tempers are flaring high already because they're worried about going there. They don't want to go there. They don't get along with certain, said in-law, or one of their sons is coming who has an addiction problem, and we know that there's going to be all this drinking, and he's probably going to be drinking. And then, just like last year and the year before and the year before that, the same
Right.
craziness is going to happen, and Christmas and Hanukkah are going to, because
Exactly.
disappointment, disillusionment, high bar, holidays are a high bar, and it's easy to fall into disillusionment, which a lot of people do.
And
And
no one can live up to the holiday hype that's created by the commercials that are broadcasted on TV. Have you noticed that? Those commercials, they can kind of get under your skin because it's like, why isn't my house like that? Right?
I mean, it's just what's important and what would be important, just like it is in relationships, since we're bringing it back, to the couples, is do something special. Ask, what would you like to do, this Christmas or this Hanukkah or this holiday that we, that we haven't done before. And you don't have to necessarily do it, but, listening and entertaining somebody else's needs and what they want is already half the battle. You have already accomplished something that you never accomplished before. And the other person at least has their hearing, and they get to relieve a little pressure before they have to go ahead and hold their nose, through the whole holiday season,
Right.
doing like 1,000 things like, I love the holidays,
Exactly.
hello, Aunt Louise, I'm so
Yeah.
happy to see you. It's like,
See that you showered 6 months ago, Aunt
right.
Louise.
That's right.
Yeah.
And I'm just happy, just so happy. Look, there's a bit of talking, a bit of understanding, a bit of consideration. This can be in the who you go to, the activities that you involve yourself with, and also remembering, that the holidays are about closeness, and the person closest to you is looking for that, especially if there hasn't been that. And so, you know,
Special.
yeah, especially if there hasn't been that. And so it may be introduced, a little novelty this
Lingerie.
holiday season. I mean, Sarah's, into the lingerie thing, and Yahoo. I mean, lingerie is certainly a signal. You know, it's a
It's a
signal,
signal. And
right?
I have a rhetorical question for you viewers that I actually want you to answer. Would it kill you to say no to Uncle Sam and Aunt Sal this holiday season? Would it kill you to say no to those second cousins who want to share fruitcake with you? Would it kill you? I don't think it would. And especially if you set expectations with those people saying, this holiday, we're doing things differently. If you have to say to them, we're doing things so differently that we're flying to Greece for 3 weeks, you can do that. It's okay.
Or there'll be the don't listen to that lady, Sarah. Don't listen to that lady. That lady's the troublemaker.
Jesus,
She's trying
break,
to sow division, in our
break up
relationship.
our family.
She's got some kind of, she's sitting in the back of the room with a big
Yeah.
stirring up trouble for us. Don't listen and stop reading those magazines. Don't listen to people like,
And
look,
especially
there's
don't listen to psychologists
yeah, there's tremendous resistance,
because they're the
in this
enemy
process.
of
You're
psychology.
asking people to change something, to consider other people at a time where where the holidays for them is like the biggest release. They're just like, oh my God, it's the holidays. The pressure of the regular world is off, but they don't recognize that, there's some pressure that's being put on. And even you don't even know how the story's going to unfold yet, because how the holiday story unfolds, is it might you might expect something, but usually something else happens. Lucky for the ones that are able to pull it off and make it, the wonderful thing. I mean, there are those. Look, people, this is not a bad mouthing of the holidays. This is really a pivot for couples who who want to just do something different. And I can tell you that if you do figure out some kind of new intimacy thing, instead of going, you go to a hotel, for the night. Start some kind of, talk about fantasies, um, uh, playful, kinds of different things that couples can do. You might create a new tradition. New traditions do come out of our experience, but sometimes we have to be, I'd say shoved, like away, because a request, I'm not sure if it's enough. I'm not sure if a request, honey, can we do something a little different, this holiday? Hey, you know, don't rock the boat, the holiday, I keep going into that because this is reality. This is why people are scared to death to even mention something because they don't even want to start their holidays off by rocking the boat. But
Right.
honestly, if you don't state your needs and you don't have to bring a list of 300 things, three things that would make your holiday better. Three, a shorter time at one place that you don't want to be at, a playful encounter, that the two of you conjure up and figure out and get busy, so that there's some kind, so that it ends in some kind of rockin' big event, where the floor is shaking, or the kitchen counter, or wherever the hell else, it might happen.
But
Um,
what about in the car between driving back and forth between house X, Y, and Z?
Sarah's a car one. Sarah likes the car. You hear that? You know, Perhaps it might be a good idea if it with Sarah to rent one of those big old Lincoln Continentals. Because you know those were bedrooms on wheels.
They,
They were rolling boats, rolling boats.
what's funny is I was actually looking at one last week because I wanted to buy it. And that was my nostalgia from my childhood because
They're
I
so huge. They're
would
huge and
cuddle
beautiful.
in the back seat and take a nap. Yeah.
Exactly, as many people did, and I mean, because it was literally like you were on a boat.
Yeah.
But
500 horsepower engine.
and yeah, I understand.
It was
But
crazy.
back to the thing at hand. Do something different. Ask in a nice way, and if you get pushed back, at least you tried. How many seasons have to go by until you just decide? I mean, isn't this the person that you live with, that you love, that you do all these things with? Um, they owe you the respect of listening. You've earned the respect to for them to listen, but the only thing that has to happen is you need to do one thing. You need to open your mouth. You need to say it, and if someone throws things at you, verbally, emotionally, or whatever, at least you stepped up this holiday season and you tried to carve something out for the two of you, but for you, because this is something that you want deep down, and it would matter to you on the other side of the holiday. Wow, what a different year, and what that might do to your relationship and the rest of the year. That's if your relationship survives the question. I mean, if
Right.
because I don't know.
And I have
You asked, why are you getting divorced? She asked me to do something different on the holidays. She asked me
exactly
to do something different on the holidays.
defended
So
my
that's
mom.
it. I'm done. You know,
Yeah.
he didn't want to go, to Aunt Shirley's house. So I called the lawyer. That's it.
And
I'm done.
can I tell a funny story about people getting things done in the car?
I
So,
mean, Sarah's still in the car.
so because
So
this
go
happened
for
when
it.
I was in high school, I had this friend, another drama geek, in high school, and she was coming back from, just a nice date with, G-rated date from the pizza place with one of the other theater geeks. And on the road, they passed this car, and she's like, "Oh, I recognize that car. Can we slow down?" And all of a sudden, those headlights hit her parents in the back seat making love, and she may have been blinded for life, but she was so shocked. And she came to school and she said, "I caught my parents having sex on in the car last night."
Wow, more power to those parents. I
Well,
say,
Jimmy,
Yahoo! I'm
I
clapping.
know. So,
Way to go.
so if
Way to
her
go.
parents can do it on just a regular day, you can do it during the holidays. And sometimes it's okay to shock your kids. It's okay.
So if you do manage to get past, the asking for 1 to 3 different things, and remember, try to do it in a way where you can try to incorporate everything into it. You're just asking somebody to reduce their time and devote their time to the two of you. That's a reasonable request for couples in the world. Create some ideas. Create micro escapes. You're stuck in over. You drive 300 miles to Uncle Tom, to Uncle whatever's house, Aunt whatever, Aunt Elizabeth, and you're stuck there. Take a 30-minute ride together. Say, duck out. Like when you would duck out like when you were young. They won't miss us. Let's get out.
Really.
Take a 30-minute, take a look at the lights, check out a different neighborhood. Spend that time. That is what's called intimacy. In
Yes.
the car, it's the two of you. You've purposely escaped just for a little bit, and you've decided to do something for each other. That's a holiday present that you can't possibly. That's holiday presents, not presents, but they're both combined, because for that other person it's a present, and you have no idea what you've done. You've made such a difference in your spouse's life, and it can be like a reset. Instead of having the stress, it's like a reset. Just imagine a 30-minute drive during the holidays being a reset. you know yeah, Honor the season, but don't drown in it. And if and you shouldn't drown alone. Maybe choose fewer events so that you can be more present with each other, or not, or go to the events you go to. More power to you. Have a great time. Carve out a little space. 30 minutes here, a few hours there, a few hours more. You have no idea the kind of results, or the kind of consequences, in the good way, that will result from you making that change. You're a team, right? You're not opponents, even though I don't know, when sometimes when people get married, and I've been married for a long time, 40 years, and they just don't tell you. They're just not, what's going to be, and there should be a heads up, so that people understand that these fights and these quarrels and this interchange, and the fact that you come from two different places, you're not always going to agree, and so you got to agree, disagree, or agree to disagree. You're not opponents. There are a lot of other enemies out there. Believe me, look out there. There's enemies. There's enemies. People who you don't get along with, or you don't like.
So
This is
don't make your spouse your enemy. Make them your closest ally.
And we can understand how that happens, but guess what? You can turn it around. It
Yeah.
can be turned around
Yeah.
if you want to, because usually when you want to do something, you do it. If you don't want to do something, you're just not going to do it. So make it a want. and do it for the other person. It's a special effort, even if it's special effort in quotes. I'm doing a special effort for the person that I care most about and spend most of my time with in this world for the past however how many years. Um, your relationship matters more than the holiday performance. I mean, look, the holiday's like a stage. You have no idea. Like, look at that. The door opens, you know, and in
Oh,
walks cousin Johnny, you know, and
yeah,
and onto the casting stage,
yeah,
comes Sarah,
yeah.
who's just been in the car, right?
Yeah.
Whatever. It's simple moments. I'm telling you that simple moments absolutely matter more than perfect traditions. I'm going to say it again. Simple moments matter more than perfect traditions. You do you disagree? Might people disagree? I think they will. I think that people don't believe that. And I'm not telling you to believe it. I'm just offering it like right here in my hands and I'm just gifting it, to you out there because it's simple moment. It doesn't take a lot. It doesn't take a lot to give a strong um, um, hug to your spouse, and whether people are around or not. If you have any idea the kind, of feeling that gives to somebody, you can't wrap it up, you can't put a bow on it because it's huger than that. It's real, it's authentic, it's a vulnerable, intimate minute, and you can do that right in the middle of those holidays to show them that guess what? Your relationship matters more than the performance, than holiday performance. What do you think, Sarah?
I agree. And that brings us to a topic that we were going to talk about, which was the holiday pleasure plan. So
Go for it.
if we want to go all in, we need to create time and place with our couple, or as a couple, rather, with your spouse or your partner, and make a holiday pleasure plan with each other. It can look something like this: write down, or you can write down, especially if you want to surprise your spouse, 3 emotional pleasures that you and your spouse enjoy, 3 physical pleasures that you and your spouse enjoy, 3 sensual pleasures that you and your spouse enjoy, and then 3 rest and recovery pleasures. And then you can cycle through it again if you want to.
And I think to do these things, there has to be a buildup. You can't all of a sudden, just pivot on a dime and be the intimate human that you might have been before. There's a lead in to it. You can be a little flirty. You could send a little, spicy text. You could leave a note. And it doesn't have to be clean. You can plan a surprise. The kind of surprises people like, not the ones they don't. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I'm not telling you, to like, run around naked in your house and then, waiting for the door to open so that when he opens the door, you go, "Hi, I'm here." And then everybody gets all disappointed and freaked out. It works sometimes. A lot of times it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But the bar was high and the results, were low. So, hey, if you want to do that, Sarah and Zev would never even think about stopping you. You go for it. You can hang nude from the rafters if that makes your world. Do whatever you
And
got
that
to do.
whole, that whole thing from Fried Green Tomatoes where Kathy Bates wraps herself up in saran wrap, you can totally do that and then have your husband just unwrap you like that. Just give it a pull and then you spin around and then there you are.
Just as long as it's not Kathy Bates.
Okay, got
I
it.
mean, come on. I saw that movie. whatever movie that was.
Fried
Misery. I saw
tomatoes.
the movie Misery. No, thank you. Stay in the. I'm going to wrap you up more. Like, except I'm not going to use saran wrap. I'm going to use duct tape. Because that's
Uh,
scary. But the idea is great, Sarah. The idea is great.
yeah, yeah. Just with a spin, you're unwrapped and unraveled, and there you are. It's memorable, at least. And saran wrap, if you go to Costco, it really doesn't cost that much.
Just saran wrap can be a little dangerous too, like don't wrap the person in the face,
No,
because that's,
don't do
like that's like a mafia thing. You know what
well,
I mean?
no,
Don't do the mafia thing, just
yes,
keep it right here, keep it down to here,
the saran
because
wrap, but
whatever temptation you might have, when you try to hold back, try to hold back on that. And look, use the season to try some things maybe that you postpone all year. Try that new restaurant you guys kept talking about. If it's open, go see the city lights, or go see that house, with the amazing lights, whatever, 40 minutes away. Um, do play some things that you don't play a little, play in the sandbox. And I don't mean the sandbox, although by all means you can play in the sandbox. But play nice in the sandbox. And I know you're creative. And even if you're feeling like what we're saying to you is like, why are these people out here talking all this shit about the holidays? You know what I mean? Why can't they just, say seasoned greetings and shut up?
and
Right?
sing some carols,
Right? Sing carols, be happy,
holiday songs.
because the answer is this: Sarah and Zev say things that
That
other people
no,
can't, don't want to, they're not comfortable, but they move us out of a comfort zone that isn't helping us. It's a status quo of a relationship. And believe me, look at all the pictures from the holidays. You want to go back? Take a look at some of the pictures, and you're going to see, if you really want to, okay, that some people weren't as happy as you thought they were, and you were. And the memories were great because you were with your family and fantastic. But we're talking about how you can embellish your holiday, how you can enhance your time, and capitalize on a special time that can be a special time for you and your spouse. And it doesn't take hours. I'm talking, look, a 5 minute, attention, a 30-minute opportunity, a 2 hour romp, whatever that is, and then back to the party, put your tie back on, and go back to the wedding. That happened to me once. That actually happened to me, and it was one of those times, and I was supposed to be, like giving a speech or something, but I was indisposed, because I was, I took a date to this wedding.
Oh,
and Zev, where were you? Like I'm trying to fix my tie. It is, we all have our stories, right? And thank God for those. Thank
yeah.
goodness for those stories in life, that we had the opportunity to have those kinds of good times where we didn't think about, and we just enjoyed. And
Where
that's what we want for you.
joy.
We're not telling you to do something here. We're suggesting that the holidays be an opportunity for just a little bit of change. You don't have to make it big. Just try a little bit. 10%. How about that? How about 10% of this upcoming holiday? You think about your spouse and what they might need, and 90% you can go do everything that you can do. Drink eggnog, till you drop, if you want, or whatever holiday cheer is being offered, at the place you've arrived at, unless you had to go out to get it. and and we want you to have a good holiday season, but we wanted to suggest something different here. I mean, we're not here to do the status quo. And Sarah and I, we do a lot of work. We wrote a book together. The book is Discover Your Amazing Edge, because everybody has an amazing edge, and it's in there, and it's born out of your adversity. If you, your challenges and all that crap that you have to go through, well, guess what? It's hiding inside, ready to come out and take you on a journey, that you couldn't even imagine was possible for you. And we hope that you'll seek us out, especially since we have an amazing new website with opportunities all over the place for you to improve your relationship, for you to improve, to blast off from some stuck point that you're at, and find the support that you're looking for. And because Sarah and I will be there when you need it most.
Yes.
When you need it most and you're stressed out, that's where you'll find Sarah and I. And anyway, this has been fun. We talked about the holidays. I'm glad we did this, Sarah. And yeah, we said some things. We definitely kicked up some dust and some dirt, but I'm okay with that.
Me
We're
too.
here twice a week, Tuesdays and Fridays. Tuesdays, we're here for what, Sarah?
Mindset shift happens.
Mindset shift happens. Thank you very much.
Yes.
And on Fridays, we're here for Spicy Fridays to talk about relationships. The reason for that is because Sarah and I dabble in success mentoring and performance mentoring, and we dabble in relationship all the way across the board, whether you're trying to improve your relationship or you're trying to recover from your last relationship, and you've left, or there's been some horrible infidelity, and you've been betrayed, or whatever. We have two areas, and we'll be telling you about our newest area, Velocity VIP, very soon. And tune in, because it'll be something that a lot of you will want to hear about. So anyway, Sarah, wrapping it up. Happy holidays, everybody.
The holiday.
On we'll see you Tuesday. And anything else, Sarah?
No, unless we
All
want to
right.
see them.
You go get in that car, all right? You go in Washington State, you go jump in that Lincoln Continental,
I need
and
to buy it first.
exactly.
And I think it will be used for family trips with dogs. Because
Very
that's
good.
what happens when you get older and you have kids and the family and the dogs and everybody.
Have a great weekend, everybody.
Have a great week.
We'll see you Tuesday.
See you Tuesday.
Bye.
Bye.